going to do a Facebook cover tutorial using Canva. Good old trusted Canva. So on your home screen, up here you've got create a design. One of the default options is your Facebook cover, but if you notice the pixel size, 2050 times 780. So what I'm going to do is click that and show you what a Facebook cover size it gives you, which is absolutely massive. Just selecting one of these sort of templates. So that's the size of the pixels that it's going to be giving you. But if you go to good old Google and search in the current Facebook cover photo, so Facebook Help Center cover photo, then it's this one here, the actual Facebook page itself. So here, your page's cover photo displays at 820 by 320. So the one on Canva's way off, I don't know why. And then that's on computers, and 640 by 360 pixels on smartphones. So when we go back to this and we see that this is way bigger, ignore that. What you want to do is go custom dimensions and put it in. But first of all, we need to do a bit of quick maths. So this is what Facebook is recommended. So the cover for a desktop is 820 by 312 and the cover for mobile is 640 by 360. Again, which is what you get off of here. So what you need to do is times these numbers by 2. So what I'm going to be doing, so 820 times 2 is 1640, which will give you 624, and then the mobile works out as 120 times 720. So this is now the desktop one, and this is your mobile one. If you've got desktop and you're viewing it on a mobile, or vice versa, or if you were to use the standard Canva size, you're going to get something like this. So for example, this is on desktop. I've just picked a random group, so this is the UK PTs group. As you can see, this is on my desktop, but look at that image. That's their cover photo on a desktop. So you can't even see their name properly. You can see bullet point what the group's about, but then here is vital information potentially missing. So it's got facebook.com, you can see that much, /groups, /whatever. You have to physically click this image to then see this version of it. Bring that to the front. So the coffee cup, not that that's, no offence guys, anyone that's associated with UK PT group, you can't see the coffee cup because it's just completely cut off. Half of this here is cut off, that's there, and then this is cut off. So if this was a website, an email address, it's irrelevant because it's not even on that picture. So to stop that happening, you want to be looking at a couple of numbers on here, which is the height, the biggest height and the biggest width. So that, when you go into here, with your custom dimensions, your width is 1640 and your height of 720. Create new, and that's going to give you this, which at first glance looks exactly the same sort of layout as the Canva option, but this is the size you want to set it at. You want to do a custom size and go with this. What this gives you, just going back to one I've made earlier, this will give you this size here. So what you now need to discover by using these measurements here is you need to do something like this. So this one here is the full width, so that's obviously 1640, and the height of it is 625. Doesn't go to 624 annoyingly. So 625 in height from here to here. So it's from there to there to there. So that is the largest, sorry, that is the desktop. So that's that. So that's your desktop, because it's that measurement there. So on desktop, this, the one that's highlighted with the outline, this is your desktop cover. Okay. The other shape that I've got there is this one, which is your mobile cover. So this one here. So the grey from top to bottom. So your maximum height 720, and then your width is 128. Well, it's 1281. Because again, won't go to 128 annoyingly. But anyway, that is the mobile. So, like I said, you've got your mobile, which is the higher one. You've got your desktop, which is the wide one. And then what I've done is put this red one. So if I take that away, you can see the grey area where they two overlap. So this grey background, I've put over the top a safe zone. So basically anything in this zone, doesn't matter if you're mobile or desktop, you're going to be seeing that. Okay, so here is one that I've got on, let's just change the colour of that. So here's one that I've got on my group. So I've got a student group. If you're one of my students, hello. If you're not, doesn't matter. This is just an example of the Facebook cover group that I've got in there. So if I was to copy and paste that, that is what you would see on desktop, on a mobile phone and or desktop. So obviously the further this way is your desktop. So as you can see, there's nothing here. There's a bit on my shoulder there, but on desktop, it doesn't matter if the width is more, and just as on mobile, it doesn't matter if it's top or bottom. If this writing was up here, it would be cut off on mobile. If that writing was over here, that would be cut off on desktop. If my face was half in, half out, you're only going to see some of it on desktop, not on mobile. So this is your safe zone. So what you need to do on Canva, once you've got your biggest, which is your 1640 times 720, you need to draw these shapes out. So how you do that is you've got your blank screen or blank canvas. You go over to elements, you search for a rectangle, then you drag that all the way across. Let's get rid of that just so you can see a bit better. All the way across. As you're holding this down, so my finger's down and I'm moving with my other finger on the mouse pad. So I'm going to move all the way over, and you can see that the maximum width, as we already know because we've set the canvas at that width, is 1640. So now what you want to do is go up, and we'll go down. And again, as you're looking at the numbers, you want to be looking out for 624, because that's the desktop. 624. Center it. As you, again, if you hold your finger on the button, you're going to get the purple. Let's get rid of some transparency just so you can see it. Then we're going to go back to elements, grab another one, get rid of that. So the width now is 1280. almost 1281. Centered, and then the maximum height now, as we already know, is the whole height of this image, so it's going to be 720. Wrong line, there you go, 720. As you can see again, we know that's the height anyway, but again, as you hold any of these and you put them into position, it's going to be telling you the numbers, okay? So again, let's get rid of some transparency on there. So now you can see that where these two overlap, there's a darker colour in the middle. So surprise, surprise, rectangle. So now what you can do is drag it to that line. That line, when you hit it, it goes pink or purple, whatever it is. And then ta-da, that is now your safe zone. You know whatever you put on this background white image, that is there. So what I would do is duplicate that. Then if you want, you can either start doing your image here, so you could sort of maybe throw transparency right down just so you've got it there as reference, or what I do is I've got this all sort of planned out, so you can see safe zone, that's your desktop, that's your mobile, and then all I would do is copy that and paste it on top just so I can double check that everything's within that. So how do you actually create the background image? Here's one. I don't know why it's not liking these icons all of a sudden. So here is just one that I've literally thrown together, and on the desktop, as you can see now, that's your desktop, so that's the wide version, and that's a mobile version. So as you can see, my shoulders still here a little bit, and it's sort of a bit cut off. So if you go all the way back to the original, so desktop wide, still a little bit cut off, as you can see here, but again, it's perfect because everything's there. Okay, mobile version, again, tiny little bit of cut off, but again, the way I've placed everything doesn't matter. So you've got a nice clear image on either or. So let's get rid of all of this, and I'll show you from start to finish how you can create one. So obviously you'd use sort of like your brand colors, etc. You know, make sure your logos in your uploads, any images of yourself or clients that you might want to use. So let's pick a background. So there's the one I chose earlier, which is a pro. So again, I've probably said this in other videos, but you need to have, well, in my opinion, a pro account's a much better account to have. There is free images available, which I'm going to try and find for the sake of this, just because some of you guys might not have a pro account. So a quick bit of searching. Let's have a look. There you go. So stretching out that way stretches the whole image. If you stretch it this way, it adjusts the width so the image can be sort of shortened, but then if you go too far, it'll be stretched. So just bear that in mind, because you might want to sort of pull it down. Let's go that way. But you might think, I want a bit more of this sort of black space to work with. So what you can do is something like that. So you could even keep dragging it over, so it's almost, not like you don't know what it is, but it's almost sort of out the way of the picture. So something like that. So that's what the image looks like if you double click on it, and then that's what it is on your page. So that's what you've got to work with potentially. Just as an example, if you want that dark, you can highlight it, and then you can go to filter. Something like street would make it darker, and then you can sort of slide this if you want it like really darked out and so on. So just for the sake of this, we'll leave it as it is there. So what you also want to do is add some text. So let's just call you Joe Blogs. PT. Not too fussed about sizing at the moment. Let's have a subheading because you want to tell people what you do. So for the sake of this, because it's a group photo or a page cover photo, people might potentially know who you are and what you do already. So you wouldn't have to have the whole I help X do X by doing X. That again is explained elsewhere in another video. So here you could literally have something about the group. So I'm not sort of selling courses, I'm not selling mentoring in this because this is for a group, like student support group. So it's just the PT Mentor UK student support group, and then a very brief ongoing guidance, advice, training, and my email address, just in case anyone needs to sort of email me, they can do so just by looking at that image. And they know as soon as a brand new student comes into that group, what they're getting. They're getting ongoing guidance, advice, and training by being in that group. Unfortunately for them, they see my face, just so when I jump on a Zoom call with them, they've already got a face to the name. So in here, for your client group, you could just have offering ongoing accountability, advice and action, or something like that. So again, not too fussed about the size at the moment. So he says adjusting the sizes, can't help it when you get hooked on Canva. So something like that. You could obviously have your email address like I have in mine. So let's just put Carl at Joe Blogs. His name should be Joe really at Joe Blogs, but hey, .com. So there's his email address. So you've got your basics in there. Then let's give him an identity, shall we? Again, all these ones are free. He's a pro. Let's try and find a free person. What's great about the pro account, which I think we might not get lucky. I've had the pro account for quite a while, so I can't remember if you can get people like this with no background on the free version. So apologies, because I don't think you can. You can try the pro version for free. I think you get a 7 or 14-day trial maybe, but once you see the features, you will not go back to a free account, and especially if you're using this. Oh, sorry, I'll do just for now. Oh, I don't like he's sitting there bare feet on the rug or whatever he's doing. But yeah, you'll definitely sort of reap the benefits of a paid account, trust me. So he's not probably the best image to use for that because he's a bit dark. So because I want to try and sort of create one that might mimic a real life cover that you'll do. Gym person. Any people with a transparent background? No. Let's go back to the men. There must be someone that's a bit more colourful. Probably a whiz for a few. There you go, I'll do. It's got a nice white top on. So, because of these handles here, at first, if you saw with the other guy, I put him over there, which would mean this would have to go over. But straight away, you can see that that handle and your name, now there's a bit of a clash. What you can do, select him, flip him around that way. He can now come over here. You can make him nice, big and bold, so it's in your face. Then that means you can move all of this stuff over. So let's put all that over there. So there's Joe. Hi Joe. He's now our host in this group that we're in. So Now you want to sort of, again, stick to your brand. So depending on your fonts, etc., I'd always say try and use the same fonts for your logo and like your wording. So let's go with this one. This is quite a nice one, Antonio Bold this is called. It can be in upper and lower. So obviously we want that Antonio light. So you just put Anton, because I was going for that one on a different post, so I remembered it from last time. So you've got Antonio light, which, as you can see there, could potentially be a little bit tough to read. But what you can do, stretch that out. This button here, spacing. Then you can do letter spacing, and it drags it out a little bit. So it's not as clumped up. You can make that nice and big. You could fit that under it. Good thing is, no matter where you put text, it always centers it. So this obviously isn't in the center of the page, but this will now center. As you can see, that purple dotted line here will now be in line with that. Again, you could put that to match the top one. And then again, at some point that will center there. And then what you could do, elements. So photos is actual photos. Elements is more sort of things like this. I had this one earlier. Oh, why is that not loading that? Oh well, let's go for that one. Bad example. Don't know why it's not liking that one all of a sudden. So let's make that smaller. It's not the best shape for this, but it's okay for an example. So again, centered. That obviously you can't read now, so let's change that to black. If you want to make, oops, I'll double click the back image. If you want to make that a bit more sort of stand out-ish, could do like green, for example, yellow, I don't know, purple, whatever. Let's put red. So some, as you can see up here, it's only got one colour change. Some things will give you two colour options. I haven't got anything out at the minute. No, that one's a bad example as well. There you go, like that. So that's got a purple and a white option. So what you could also do here, just as I've selected it, so sometimes you might want a sort of transition. So if you've got an image that's a bit busy in the background, you might think, I want to sort of try and get rid of some of that. So I'm just going to drag that, make it big. So what you want to do now is move that backwards. So position, send to the back. So as you can see there, you've got your gym. You've got potentially this might be a brand colour, or because I've got red already, let's put a bit of red. So red might be your brand colour, and now it looks like that image is sort of faded in. Because black and red might be your colours, select this one, it tells you the colour of the image you've got, so you know you've got this red image. Transparency up here, you could cut that right down. So obviously 100% transparency means it's as it is, 0 means it's see-through. So as you slide up the scale, you could say maybe about there, so that way you can still make out the image in the background. He's sort of popping off a bit more because he's not sort of hidden on that barbell in the background. Joe Blogs is nice and clear. Again, you can make that as big, bold as you want. Now I've moved it, I've got to move everything else, so let's go back. Just otherwise I'll be annoyed it's not in line. So there you go. So that is a very basic overview. You could drop things like this on, so your clients know that you've got a page. Again, it's going to line up, so the right hand side of that is now in line with the middle. Get your Instagram one. Ignore that. God knows why it's doing that all of a sudden. Maybe I've used Canva too much today, it doesn't like me. So again, that lines up with the middle. on the left hand side of it where that purple line is, it also has a line across the top of these two. If you select that one and hover over that one, you can see those two blue lines are in line as well. The bottom bit isn't, so you just slowly drag that up, and then you can just about make out that there's a dotted purple line there. If I make it a bit bigger, get rid of him for a minute. So as you can see there, there's a few little dots that just appear along the bottom, or again you can select the box and just see that they're nicely lined up. So again, colour options change. Not everything does have that option to change the colour. Oh look, it's saying I can change the colour of the box, but obviously I can't. But anyway, that's an Instagram, just imagine. That's an Instagram image. So there is your basic cover photo. So once you've had a bit of a play and it looks good, what you need to do is get your safe zone, copy and paste. So that is, I'm sure you can see it, but just because it's the same colour as the background, let's make it yellow or something. So that there is going to be absolutely perfect for either mobile or desktop. So as you can see, the darker bits either side doesn't really matter, because when people are on a desktop they're going to see a little bit more of it left or right. The height, his head again is going to appear in some bits but not others, but again you can still see who that is. If you had him over here for example, so if you thought, oh, you know, the spacing of it, I want a nice big bold name, I want that over here, I want to put my icons down in the corner. Excuse my laptop, MacBook's going to blow up by the sounds of it. Again, been on Canva too much today. So maybe that's over there. I know that's not in line, but just 'cause it's being a bit slow, I'm going to leave it as that. So you could think, oh, that looks really good, it's all spaced out nice. But don't forget, before you save it, you want to make sure that you've checked it out on here. So as you can see, with the blue outline of the red, half of his face is missing. You called Joe Blogs, but PT's now disappeared. Half of your Instagram image is disappeared. Your tagline of offering ongoing accountability advice and action has disappeared. If your email address was over underneath it, half of that would be missing, and so on. So you need to make sure that whatever you put has got enough detail in the safe zone. So, because it looks good on desktop and it looks good on mobile. When it comes to saving this, if you've been playing around and you've got like 4 or 5 pages open because you've sort of done bits and pieces like this, obviously that there would not be a very good cover photo. As you can see, logo is just poking in. My face, unfortunately, some people may say, is still in it. My email address is still in it, but my Instagram and Facebook username is not. All of the writing's in it, fine. So on first glance, if you didn't see any of this stuff around the outside, would it be the biggest issue? Probably not. But what you don't want to do is have anything up here, down here, around here that potentially people are going to be missing out on. So you might think, oh, that's brilliant, I've got everything on there, I've told people to email me. But if you've put that at the bottom and you've not done this check, you know, as you can see on this one, oh, let's send that one to the back. Actually, I don't even need it, let's delete it. As you can see on this one compared to the other, like that image, you can't really tell what it is. Fair enough, like the image is just someone sitting on a laptop having a coffee anyway by the looks of it, so it's not really that relevant to the group. But you know, you can't even see what they could be. OKPIS. You know, I know you know what it is called here, and if you're in that group, you're not really going to be that fussed. But someone new to the group, if this said, new people, please click whatever, you've missed that information. So you want to make sure you've got your safe zone going on. So if you've done something like this and you've got your safe zone and you've planned it all out and then you've overlaid this, before you save it, delete that obviously. So there's your group cover photo. Go to download. You want to select just the page that we're on, so it highlights what page you're on. So it shows a little thumbnail. So I want page 5 and I want it as a PNG file. So that's going to be the best quality you can get. Hit done and that will download just that one page. If you don't tick that, it's gonna, like the default is all pages. So if you don't sort that out and you're going to download every single page, and then you'll just have to like split them to put this one onto your cover. So just if you're playing around with the sizes, you want to just select that one. Bad example. Deselect them all. So just page 5, download as PNG, save it to your desktop, and then upload into Facebook, and it will look like, as I'll keep showing you, that on desktop, that on mobile. Hopefully that's useful. Here's the numbers again just to finish on, and have a little play. If you get stuck, let me know.